determine a quorum.
Alderperson Vitale.
Here.
Weigel.
Here.
Barzak.
Here.
Chaplesky.
Here.
Lysick.
Here.
May.
Here.
Probst. Here. Reinke. Here. Rote.
Here.
Singstack.
Excused.
9 present, 1 excused.
We have a quorum. Alderman Vitale will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have one item for public hearing this evening. I'll ask the clerk to read item number 1.
A hearing on the improvement of West Oklahoma Avenue from South Waukesha Road to South 124th Street and portions of intersecting streets by major asphalt resurfacing, miscellaneous sidewalk repair, miscellaneous driveway repair, and utility adjustments.
Mr. Daniels.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is the public hearing for West Oklahoma Avenue. Here are the procedures for tonight's hearing. I'll go through the project scope and cost. We'll discuss assessment rates, methods of payment. Then we'll have comments and questions from the Common Council and then from citizens affected. Then the hearing will be closed and the project will be referred to the Board of Public Works, and we anticipate a decision later tonight by the Council. Here are the project limits. We're going from 124th Street to just around Waukesha Road on the east end. Here's some pictures of the pavement. The pavement, concrete pavement's from 1967. It's 46 years old. It's severely cracked and potholed. Most of the joints have potholes. They're patched. Routine maintenance is getting difficult and expensive because we have to send people out to fill these potholes several times a year. Here's the typical finished product with a new asphalt surface. Some of the curb and gutter sidewalk repairs would be done where needed. So the project will include the removal and replacement of just some of the deteriorated curb and gutter and some of the concrete base patching, not all of it. The old concrete pavement that remains will be cracked and seeded. The idea is to crack the larger panels of concrete that are rocking whenever a truck or a bus goes by, and crack them into smaller ones to reduce the reflective cracking in the new asphalt. Then we'll put down a new 4-inch asphalt surface, and then the street would remain open as much as possible during the work. Parking may be restricted. There would be some underground utilities repaired or upgraded, but not a lot of underground work is needed. Here's the paving cost, or the total cost of the project. $546,000 to do the paving. Some minor street lighting improvements for $12,000. Some minor sanitary sewer repairs for $25,000. Storm sewer repairs, $85,000, and some very minor water main work for $29,000. So the total cost of the project would be $697,000. The assessment rate is $41.82 for residential, $52.27 for commercial. And if anyone were to have any driveway work done, that would be $6.26 per square foot, but I don't anticipate anyone will be needing that. The assessments altogether return $106,000, which is about 19% of the paving cost above. Here's a sample special assessment. There's some very large lots out there. So a typical lot of 100 feet wide with an assessment rate of $41.82. The homeowner's cost is $4,182. We do have some payment options, but I want everyone to be aware that the bills would not be mailed out until March of 2014. And at that point, you could decide between a lump sum payment, a 5-year installment plan, or a 10-year installment plan. If you were to choose the 10-year plan, the special assessments would range from the first year in 2014 at $585 to the 10th year, 2023, would be $435. The city has funded projects with special assessments for over 100 years. Any property that's adjacent that receives a unique benefit from being adjacent to the road has historically been assessed up to 100% of the cost, but as you saw in this case, the special assessments for this project are only accounting for 19% of the total cost. This is a map that shows the southwest corner of West Allis. Every colored lot here are people who have paid a special assessment in the past 10 years. So this map shows that the majority of people in the city have paid their fair share, and the way it works in West Allis is you pay for the street in front of your house, and while you use other people's streets, you're mostly just paying for the street in front of your house. So, Orchard Hills, all these places, most of these people have paid for their street or alley in the past 10 years at least. The city does borrow the funds for the paving portion of this project. The city will pay interest to these municipal bondholders over the next 10 years. So the city does pass along these interest charges to residents who choose a 5 or 10-year payment plan. The city does not make a profit off of the interest charged. And with that, I'll entertain any questions from the council.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Are there any questions or comments from the Common Council on this item?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Reinke?
Pete, could you please tell me when this project is slated to begin?
We're looking to start late July or August and go for about 2 months.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the council on this item? Okay, seeing none, are there any questions or comments from the audience on this item? If you could approach the microphone here and state your name and address, and then please sign in either before or after your comments. It's up to them. Thank you.
My name is Owen Clotty. My wife and I own the property at 12120 West Oklahoma. We have a fairly large frontage there, I guess, and so we're getting quite a bit of this. I'm just wondering a couple questions. One is, we actually are renting the property out right now, and I'm just wondering what kind of access there will be, or how much problem will there be with access while this is going on?
The road will always be open. There'll be certain lanes closed. We'll do like half the road at a time, but the road will always be open, and you'll always be able to get in your driveway. And since we're not entirely removing the old road, you'll always be able to at least get across to your driveway on the concrete.
And is this 19%, is that a fairly average? I mean, I know you said some might be 100%, some assessments, but I'm just
It's actually kind of low, but the $42 per foot that you're paying is the same as anyone else anywhere else in the city. Okay. Even if they lived on a cul-de-sac or a dead-end street, they would still be paying $42 a foot. So you're not penalized for it being a busy street. You're not penalized for how big a street it is. Okay. You're paying exactly the same $42 per foot as anyone anywhere else. Okay. On any other street.
And the fact that it's a bus route and has that extra heavy traffic and everything doesn't...
We do make the street thicker. We make to account for that so that it will last the 46 years. So, yeah. So you don't pay any more, but the city is actually making the road thicker so that it will withstand trucks and buses. But the price is the same to you, whether you live on a cul-de-sac or a busy street. Okay.
And last question, if we paid the over 10 years or whatever, what is that interest rate actually that you calculated to be, do you know?
4%.
4?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I think that's it for now.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments?
Hello, my name is Lance Johnson. Me and my wife live at 12214 West Oklahoma. I think we were all kind of a little upset at the amount and a little shocked, but I'm getting over that a little bit because I'm learning more about the process, and I understand that a lot of people pay for it. I guess my question is, you say that everybody pays the same rate. Is there any guarantee to us that it will hold up as long as, say somebody lives on a side street somewhere or less used street, is there any guarantee that we're not going to be doing this again in 10 years, 15 years, because it's going to be asphalt paving versus concrete, because I estimated, I did a little traffic study of my own, it's not very scientific, but I took some 10-minute increments. I estimate around 20 to 30,000 cars use that road every day.
Oh, it's actually higher. I think it's
okay,
more
see, I was trying to be conservative.
It's more like 35.
It is a truck route. There's tons of buses, double bus route, plows. Mm-hmm. It's very highly used. So I kind of feel like we're paying for, a large community thoroughfare, basically, a lot of New Berlin traffic and all that. So.
But as I said, you're paying exactly the same whether you were on a dead-end street.
Okay.
The $42.
I guess the heart of the question, I got a little carried away with it, is there any kind of guarantee that it's going to last as long as somebody else's payment on their street, that kind of thing?
We would anticipate it will definitely last 20 years, if not 30. I mean,
Yeah, because I think we'd be mostly upset if we're back here again in,
No.
10, 15 years.
no, that's why we make it thick enough. 4 inches of asphalt is a little bit thicker on top of the 9 inches of concrete. So it's going to be a very thick road. It will last
Okay.
20 years at least.
Our other question, it's a very weird street because there's backyards on the south side. Are they included in this or not?
They are paying for Lakefield. We're actually going to do Lakefield Drive in about 2 years, so they'll be paying for Lakefield Drive because that's the street where they get their access and their utilities, and so they'll be paying their fair share for their street in the front, but they are not paying for this street now.
What's that? Oh, and the apartment buildings, there's a lot of units there. They just pay by footage, or there's a lot of people and cars in there that are
The owner of the apartment will write a check for the whole amount, but the condos we divide as if it were an individual house. So each condo is paying a portion of that frontage. So the condos are paying individually, the apartments, the owner pays, and that gets passed on in the rent, I guess. But so they're all paying, and they're paying at the higher rate. The apartment is paying at the higher rate. The condos are paying at the residential rate.
Yes, they are included in the equation.
Yes. But that won't affect, how much you're paying. Like I said, it's always $42, even if the project's way more expensive, or if we get low bids or high bids, it doesn't matter. You're going to pay $42 per foot, guaranteed, just like everybody else in the city.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments on this item from the audience? Okay, seeing none, we will close our public hearing, and we will move on to item E on your agenda's citizen participation. It's the opportunity for residents to address the council on matters of interest to them. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. Is there anybody who wishes to address the council under citizen participation this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we will close citizen participation and move on to item F on your agendas, our announcement of our standing committees. They will be meeting during recess. The room numbers are on page 1 of your agendas. Moving on to item G, miscellaneous business. I do not have a mayor's report this evening. Are there any alderperson's comments?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Reinke?
Normally, we don't give kudos, you might say, to our grade schools. However, I was so impressed with this program that I attended this last week, and so I just want to extend my congratulations to the 4th and 5th graders of Irving School, who presented a unique program and historical characters last week. They portrayed characters from the Civil and the Revolutionary War. Most of them had costumes. They, when you entered the gym, they were lined all up in their character costume, and they had coloring of a dot on the floor, and if you wanted to hear what they had to say, you had to touch the dot, and they would explain which character they were and the history behind it and what they all did. I was just so impressed. They all did such a marvelous job in characters of Lincoln and all the presidents, you might say, during those years, and the generals and the suffrage people. It just was a marvelous, marvelous program. So I just want to say they did a marvelous job between the students themselves and the staff that assisted them. I'm just so impressed with what they did that particular afternoon, and they should be commended. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Probst?
I wanted to let everyone know that last month, due to the weather on February 7th and the snowstorm that we had, Alderman Woggle and I had to cancel our listening session for that evening. The next one is scheduled for Thursday, March 7th in the Constitution Room at the library from 7 till 8 o'clock for the residents of the 2nd District. And secondly, this past weekend, we had the WIAA sectionals here for our West Allis wrestlers, and 4 of our West Allis wrestlers have made it to the state tournament in Madison starting on Thursday. So between Hale and Central, we have 4 representatives in Madison.
Thank you. Any other alderperson's comments?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Weigel?
I just wanted to let everybody know, last week I attended our downtown West Allis Business Improvement District annual town hall meeting. It's a chance, one of many, where local businesses get together. At this particular meeting, they kind of review the year and talk about what's coming up next year in our downtown. And I just want to remind everybody of the good works that our Business Improvement District is doing, and that they are certainly bringing back the very popular events they've been running in the past, the West Allis a la carte, the car show, the Halloween meet and treat, Christmas on the Avenue, and they will again this year be doing the art crawls. They're called Thursday art crawls, and they start in May and they run through September, and they are of course on the 3rd Thursday of the month. Thanks.
Thanks, Alderman Weigel. Any other alderperson's comments?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman May?
Real quick, I wanted to thank the Department of Public Works. A couple of weeks ago, we had a pretty decent snowstorm, and I'd been told you really don't understand the Department of Public Works, how they work during a plowing operation until you get behind the plow. And I called them up on midnight that night and was able to go out with them until about 3:30 in the morning. And as much as you talk to a department head, as much as you talk to staff about what they're going through, you really don't see what they do until you get behind the, get into the cab of the truck with the plows and see how they work and the constraints that they have. And I just have a new appreciation for them, and I wanted to say thank you for their time and their effort in bringing me out. The second thing is 98th Street. A while back there was a DOT meeting regarding some noise walls along 894. And at their meeting there was some discussion of some property taking along 98th Street to accommodate the new zoo interchange. Just want to let you know, Mayor Dan Devine, Alderman Barzak, and myself have been working with the Department of Transportation, and they have agreed to host with us a neighborhood meeting in mid-March so that all the property owners can better understand what's going on, and we can give them our input. So that information is forthcoming. And then the third thing, real quickly, on my Facebook page and on Twitter, I had asked a question of people who are following me on there, and I asked, if there was one thing in West Allis you would change, if there was one thing you think we could be doing better, what would it be? And I was assuming it would be all sorts of different things, but what shocked me was the number one thing that I heard was the enforcement of some of our traffic laws. And I know it's difficult with our police department out there working on a number of other cases, but I just want to let you know I thought it was an interesting insight that her number one thing was enforcing traffic laws, and number 2 was property code enforcement. So that was it, and thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other alderperson's comments?
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Lysick.
Ms. Clerk, are there any additions or corrections to tonight's agenda?
There are 2 changes. Item number 21 is a referral change to Public Works, and agenda item number 22 is a joint referral to include the Public Works Committee.
Thank you. With that, I would move for approval of the agenda as corrected.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Reinke. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor Devine.
Alderman Lysick.
I move for approval of the minutes of the Common Council regular meeting of February 5th, 2013.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman May. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item J, I'll ask for a motion to place item number 2 on file and refer 3 through 6 to the city attorney for a legal opinion.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion by Alderman Probst, a second by Alderman Barzak. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item K on your agenda, standing committee reports, Safety and Development Committee, Alderman Lysick.
Mayor Devine. I refer you to items 7 and 8 on your agenda. This is a resolution as amended and a communication that will close out TID District number 3 and reallocate the remaining funds, acted upon favorably by all 5 members of the committee. I move for adoption of the committee report on those items.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Vitale. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Barzak.
Aye.
Chaplesky.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
May.
Aye.
Probst.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
Aye.
9 in favor, none opposed.
Motion carries.
I then refer you to items 9 through 12 on your agenda. These are various resolutions and communications. Item 9, referring to an amendment to TID District number 7. Item 10 is a communication regarding that. Item 11 is a resolution to amend a cooperation agreement between the CDA and the City of West Allis for TID District number 7. And item 12 is a resolution approving a January 2013 amendment to the Summit Place Business Park restated development agreement as amended. Acted upon favorably by all 5 members of the committee, I move for adoption of the committee report on those items.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Barzak. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderperson Vitale.
Aye.
Weigel.
Aye.
Barzak.
Aye.
Chaplesky.
Aye.
Lysick.
Aye.
May.
Aye.
Probst.
Aye.
Reinke.
Aye.
Rote.
No.
8 in favor, 1 opposed.
Motion carries.
That's all, Mayor Devine.
Thank you. We'll now move on to item L on our agendas. Alderman
Mayor
Lysick.
Devine,
Alderman Lysick.
I move that we stand in recess until conclusion of the committee meetings.
Second.
There's a motion with a second by Alderman Reinke. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are in recess.